How's it going, everybody? Dieter Kurtenbach, Cam Inman, Hard Rock Stadium. As you can see behind us, the site of the second largest collapse in Super Bowl history. The 49ers were up 10 points with 9 minutes to go. They had their sixth Lombardi trophy almost in their grasp. They were dominating the game. Two bad offensive series later, and Patrick Mahomes scored 2 touchdowns right after those. They're down 24-20 and gave up another touchdown for good measure as they couldn't get the job done on the final drive. Cam, I've never quite seen anything like that, and I was at the last time something like this happened. I was at Super Bowl 51. Kyle Shanahan, I can't imagine what he's going through mentally right now.
No.
It's not all his fault, but man, this guy is now responsible in some way for...
Well, so he wasn't fully at fault for a 28-3 collapse with the 2016 Falcons, but it's on him. Just like this one's going to be on him for losing a 20-10 lead with, I mean, it was basically down to 6-13 when the Chiefs scored their first, got their points going. Before that, there was a 3rd and 15 play that resulted in a 44-yard completion, which really got the Chiefs in motion. A phenomenal throw by Patrick Mahomes. The nightmare that the 49ers were expecting, or they wanted to prevent. Everybody knew the guy could break, contain, keep a play going. He found Tyreek Hill. He found 2 more touchdowns. The 49ers found trouble. And in between those 2 Chiefs touchdowns, they had a 3 and out. Jimmy Garoppolo had time on the clock.
Right.
Here on the same field where Joe Montana won a Super Bowl in dramatic fashion, where Steve Young won the 49ers last Super Bowl 25 years ago.
Right.
Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers offense, they fell apart in the clutch. The Chiefs did not.
Well, and they barely got across midfield when they had an opportunity, and it was 4-down territory the entire way to win the game. I mean, they had a chance to win the game. The 49ers defense, for the vast majority of this contest, and you could say probably on the whole, was outstanding. They were unreal. They were giving Patrick Mahomes a mix and match of man and zone. He looked flustered. He looked flustered going into the fourth quarter. And that's what made that 10-point lead feel so much larger than it actually was. Because it's Patrick Mahomes. You go, 10 points, that's nothing. That might as well be a tie with Patrick Mahomes. But the 49ers defense looked like they had cracked the outstanding young quarterback for the Chiefs. We all should have known better, but it did feel that way. And the 49ers were moving the ball with ease against the Chiefs defense, and it all just flipped like that.
DeForest Buckner summed it up where he said, we were pressuring Mahomes. He started throwing ducks. He got interceptions.
2.
He was feeling pressure. He said, then he broke contain and made big plays. He did. Richard Sherman on the other side, who gave up one of those long passes to Sammy Watkins to set the things in motion as well for their winning touchdown, said, just mistakes, just kind of dismissed it. Well, mistakes can kill you. And Kyle Juszczyk, he said, this 49ers were in the situation they wanted. They wanted to run the ball. They're great at running the ball. They stopped running the ball. They started throwing passes. Incompletion, sack. Incompletion, nightmares, collapse, done.
Some tough penalties along the way there, too, and those are the things that will always kill a drive. I do want to be a little optimistic here because, let's be real, no one saw the 49ers coming to the Super Bowl this year. We thought they might be good, they might make the playoffs, but this was beyond the pale. And for the second time in Kyle Shanahan's career, he had one in his grasp in the third quarter. This team isn't, some imposter that was exposed tonight. They did not make the plays, and the Chiefs did in the fourth quarter, and that's where championships are won. The one takeaway I had from this week in Miami is that this 49ers team is not a flash in the pan, that this thing is built to last. And Shanahan, you saw a bunch of guys who were undrafted, a bunch of guys who were third-day picks making big plays in this game. They're not, subject to a salary cap dump or anything like that. They have a quarterback who's locked in on his contract. He can certainly get better, as we saw in the fourth quarter, but was pretty darn good at stretches as well. They have a bunch of young guys. There will be some tough decisions, don't get me wrong. You'll never get this same 49ers team again. But I feel confident that this won't be the last time that they're in the Super Bowl after talking to everybody this week.
And they all said that after the game as well. From Kyle Shanahan right away to Jimmy Garoppolo to a lot of guys were saying, look, we're a very good team. We're built for the long haul. One guy who said they're built for the long haul was Joe Staley, and there was not a player that was more distraught that I talked to after the game. Joe Staley, a 13-year veteran. I asked him if this stung, obviously, more than the 49ers Super Bowl loss 7 years ago, and he said yes. And he just kind of smirked because it's really hard to answer, and he explained why it was so hard. And he was saying, look, you pour your heart and soul and your life into winning a Super Bowl.
Right.
And you realize when you're later in your career how rare these opportunities come. And it was very tough for Joe. He had tears in his eyes. He had a bandage on his right thumb from getting 8 stitches for a cut, and he came back for the fourth quarter because he wanted to be in there at the end. What I take away from this, Dieter, is yes, it's a team that's built to win again. Next year, this year, is going to be emotionally. It's going to be so hard for them to overcome this loss. You saw the 49ers in 2013. They were able to get back to the precipice of almost getting there again. This team, this was a devastating loss. And the Rams lost to the Patriots and fell off. Different franchises, obviously, but the emotional hangover from this, Super Bowl losers always have a tough time. Good luck to them.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how Kyle Shanahan and his coaching staff, which should more or less be together next year, and the team, which for the most part should be together again next year, respond to this, because as Cam put it right there perfectly, this is going to be emotionally devastating. And while it felt that way, certainly in the moment, I can't imagine what the next 48, 72 hours are going to feel like for these guys. This is a long plane ride back to the Bay Area, and they got a lot of things to think about. They had this thing in their hands, and they let it slip away. They gave the best player in the NFL an inch, and he took a mile and a Lombardi trophy away from the 49ers. We're going to get on a plane as well. We'll be back in the Bay. No parade, but certainly plenty more 49ers coverage to come. See ya.